So I just attended Samsung Unpacked and I have access to the Z Fold 7 or the Z Fold 7. So in this video, we are going to talk about the initial impressions of this device. Let's get going. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rafi and I'm a doctor who also makes content here about all things tech, travel, and tips and tricks. So if you want to lead your ideal nerd life, this is probably the channel for you. So the Z Fold 7, this is quite the device. You know, heading into Unpacked, there's been a lot of leaks. And I've seen the images, and during Unpacked itself, they showed how thin the device was. And then we went to the experience area and picked it up for the first time. And that's when it blew my mind, because the first thing I did was put it side by side with my S25 Ultra and realized that this is roughly the same thickness as the device that I'm currently filming on. But that phone doesn't unfold into two and become a tablet. So this is quite an engineering marvel. And just like the S25 Edge, I think it's one of those phones that you have to see for yourself in person and feel it to realize what a special device this is. So first impressions, it is sleek. This actually feels like Samsung's finally refined that foldable formula. They were first to market with this folding glass technology, but picking this up feels like that idea has now been refined to the point where, yeah, it's finally ready for the masses. I know I said this before about the Z Fold 5, but picking this up, this is the one. This actually feels so close to a standard candy bar form factor that you almost don't notice that it's a folding phone. It feels sturdy, and the aspect ratio is nice. It's ever so slightly narrower than the S25 Ultra, but because of these more curved edges on the side and the hinge design, it's a little bit more softer to grip, and it actually feels slimmer than it is. That slightly wider form factor means that using the keyboard on the cover screen just feels like normal. Being able to reach across with your thumb is much more appreciated. On the inside, the display is expansive and ever so slightly bigger than last time. Samsung has also omitted a couple of things to get this device to such a thin and light factor. Firstly, it is no longer an under-display camera. It is now a hole punch, which frankly I quite like, because I found the previous generation to be pretty soft, and this generation is better, in my opinion. The other thing that they sacrificed in order for thinness is the S Pen support. Now, this is something that's very dear to my heart. As you might know if you've seen any of my previous videos, I use the S25 Ultra predominantly for the S Pen, and my Surface Pro, my Books, they all have some sort of handwriting input because I just find it so essential to the work that I do. So that is something that I personally find like a big omission, but I know it's probably not the biggest factor for most people, so maybe that's a worthy trade-off for you. On the camera front, it is now resembling the S25 Ultra with the 200 megapixel sensor. It doesn't have the full complement of cameras. It doesn't have the 5x telephoto. It does have a 3x zoom as well as an ultra-wide camera on there. There is something different about the processing on the Pro Visual Engine this time around. I have taken side-by-side comparisons, and generally speaking, though they're about the same, the Z Fold 7 does produce more pleasing images. Now, I thought initially maybe that's just me, I'm just seeing things, it's my personal preference, but I've tried this with multiple people, and even right now, we went out for breakfast downstairs, and I showed other people who've also got the Z Fold, and we've done side-by-sides, and everyone agrees there's just something different about the processing going on here. So whether that comes as an update to the S25 Ultra, I don't know, but at the moment, this one with the latest in One UI 8.0 does actually process images in a more pleasing way, and we couldn't really come up with any further adjectives. You just look at it and you're like, that one's nicer. But it's a little bit of the sharpening, it's a little bit of a few different things that come together. Now, I've had the device for about 24 hours now, so not enough to give you a very in-depth review. But so far, what has impressed me is that I have basically been shooting content nonstop since yesterday, and there's still a lot of battery. I haven't really charged the device. So battery life seems to be on par, if not slightly better than the previous generation. AI features wise, Gemini is now baked in even more deeply, and now you can actually interact with Gemini by either sharing your screen or turning on the camera and have a conversation with it. I haven't had time to fully explore the One UI 8.0 features, but if you'd like to see something like that, let me know in the comments below for a full review. So in summary, this is an incredibly sleek device. It's finally gotten Samsung from a place of, I would say, complacency to where modern foldables are now, and they have really hit it out of the park. The camera system is now flagship level. The performance has always been amazing and it continues to do so, but go out there and hold it in your hands. I think you'll be surprised at how thin and light and ridiculous this phone actually is. If you'd like to see my review of the Z Fold 5, link up here, and I'll see you in the next video.